Let's just come to terms with the fact that it was just a whole lot better being a teen as a Gen X than it is as a millennial or Gen Zer. Just better. I'm going to show you the ways and how much better it was right here, right now on the Ujamaa Network. I'm Antoine Anderson. Talking about this stuff might be like throwing salt on an open wound, but if you are a millennial or Gen Zer, listen to how easy it was from a Gen Xer on how I was able to get a car with a job that paid less than $4.75 an hour and able to keep it going. First off, what I paid for a 10-year-old used vehicle from an auction was less than 1 month's payment that you guys are making right now. It was $750. I was able to save $750 in less than 10 months at a job literally cleaning toilets at a high rise building when I was like 17 or 18 years old. This was 88. Now, the all time high interest rate we're saving at that time was somewhere in the neighborhood to 10 to 15% in a savings account. Yes, back then you actually earned money, annual percentage rate of 15% just for putting your money in a bank. Those days are long gone. What you guys are facing is 0.21, 0.43% annual increases on your money. The compound interest is not compounding as a Gen Z or millennial. You guys are getting hosed. And why was it? What happened? Why did it drop to 0.43% on an annual percentage rate for your savings, the money you're putting in the bank? Why are you not earning those returns? Well, a couple of factors came into play. Banks started collapsing. And the reason that they're saying they were collapsing was because they couldn't pay those returns back. If I put in $100 at the end of the year at 15%, I was making $15 at the end of that year. Think about how much money was being made every time you put a dollar into the bank. You were making a percentage of 15% on it. That's like crypto numbers are today. You don't see that kind of return today. Also, back then, we didn't have the fees that you guys had. Putting money in the bank didn't cost you money to put it into the bank. There were just so many reasons why just this one aspect is leading to why things are so bad. You can't save in this climate right now. You really can't. You have to invest in order to try to make a return on your dollars. Another interesting thing while we're still talking about cars, the price of that car, like I said, was $750. It was a Mustang. Well, a Mustang knockoff. It was a Mercury Capri, right? Okay, little four banger, but it was less than 10 years old. Try buying a 10-year-old vehicle in today's dollars. That 10-year-old vehicle might cost you somewhere in the neighborhood of eight to $10,000. Meanwhile, you're not able to make much more than what I was making as an entry level job. $5, $6 an hour in Massachusetts in the 80s was good money. Here now, you're not getting a car. That's not even enough money for Uber. So understand the dynamics at play. And how is it that it got this bad? Well, not a whole lot of us are voting or keeping an eye on these issues as they're coming up. You can sit back and blame politics or blame situations, crashes, but ultimately it's policies. It's not politicians, it's policies. And while we're all being distracted by talking points on either side of the aisle, the bottom line is the numbers, those the dial for those numbers are moving in one direction only, and it is away from you as the consumer. Life is getting really, really expensive in the US to the point where most people just cannot hold on anymore. It is that bad. And it's only getting worse. The only way to come out of that is to find a way somehow to invest what money you can and spend much better. It is just that simple. You're not going to get rich by waiting for pennies to fall from heaven. There are two ways to get it. You can either earn more money or you can save more money. And using the bank as it stands now at a 0.43% interest rate, that's not going to make you any money. Let's look at some of these numbers. The theory behind compound interest is just this simple. You take an initial deposit, let's say in our example, we're going to go with $500. And in that $500, you're going to also add $10 per month, every month for a year. At the end of that year, at 12% interest, that 500, without touching it, became $686. Now, what I was doing was adding $20 a month, just $20. And by the end of that year, by the end of my junior or senior year, actually senior year, I had enough money to go get my first car at an auction for $812. It was so much less than that. I only paid $750. That's what it was to be a teen in the 1980s. This is like 88. What you guys are getting are nowhere near that. So you take $500 that you have initial and you add $20 a month. That's $200 plus 40. That's $240 in just contributions. That should have only gotten you $740, but that extra was just interest. So the difference between 812 and that $740 is what you would gain in interest at 12%. This is what you guys are getting. See the difference? You made about $2.62 in a year at this current rate. This is not happening. You would probably make more money by taking that $2 and throwing it in on a lottery ticket. There's no money to be made on interest in a savings account anymore. It just doesn't happen. This is why people are turning to alternative means to traditional banking to earn a return on their money. If you are struggling, if you are a person that is out here trying to make an honest living, there is no honest way to make money in the banking industry as a saver to earn a return. It's just that simple. It's sad. It's a terrible truth, but numbers just don't lie. Now, to compound this things, to make this thing even worse, the cost of things are just so much more. The average cost of a car today for a 10-year-old used car is not $740. You're probably, let's just look at it. Let's not even joke around with it. Let's talk about a used 2014 Corolla. $6,000 with 195,000 miles on it. Bruh, just not happening. It's just not gonna happen. I don't get it. I don't know what it's gonna take for us to get out of it. You're probably looking at a estimated payment of about $102 a month if you could get an 8% rate. Right now, some dealerships are charging up to 22%. You just are hit in the mouth as a teen right now. Don't get it twisted. All right, so the question is, who sets the policies that raises these rates or lowers these rates? Well, that would be the Federal Reserve chairperson. And the Federal Reserve chairperson is appointed to that position by the president. But it doesn't end there. Once the president appoints a Federal Reserve chair, that individual has to be confirmed by the full Senate. Senate takes a vote on who is going to run the Federal Reserve because it's all of our money that's affected by this. And that is the process. So it really transcends talking points because the person that is typically selected to run or to serve in that position, these are 4 year terms. They are able to extend those 4 year terms. Again, they will face confirmation hearings. But at the end of those 4 years, it is that individual who sets the tone, gives the reports on how well the dollar is doing against other currencies around the world, and how we pay our bills in this country. How do we keep things from going into recession or depression? These are the policies that make it so high or hard to buy a house right now because of the policies set forth by the Federal Reserve Chair based on information they're receiving. And these are the things that you need to know as a consumer so that you don't fall into the trap of paying too much for everything like we're doing right now. Leave your comments and like, subscribe to this channel. I'd love to hear from you. Talk to you later.